What's up, Make Pop Music? It is Austin Hull here from Austin Hull Audio and Visual and Make Pop Music. And I know it's been a second, however, we've just been so busy working on stuff for the holidays. We've got a new sample pack coming, we've got some deals coming. Don't want to give out too many spoilers right now, but you will find out in the next few days or in the next week or so. However, this video is not about that. Not only have we been really busy at Make Pop Music, but we actually heard that our friend Friedemann over at the channel Holistic Songwriting has also been working on something super exciting. He's been working on something called the Songwriting deck, and today we're going to be going over that. I kind of want to show you guys some things that you can do with a deck, kind of what the deck entices, and then just talk to you a little bit about how to get the deck. He's actually starting a Kickstarter right now where you can go. I'll leave the link in the description below. If you like this video, if you're interested in getting the deck, go to the Kickstarter and support, because that's the only way that everybody's going to be able to get this product. I'm really, really excited. Let's go ahead and just talk about the cards at first and what you get in the deck, then show you an actual real life example of me picking cards and making a song off of that. So without further ado, let's just take a look at the decks. So the first deck that you get is the Melody and Harmony deck. That's this purple one. So as you can see on the card, you've got all 9 of these different like little 2-chord chord progressions. So what you can do is you can pick this card and you can pick this card. Then what you can do is you can look at the next card that's going to be up in the deck, and there's a little matrix right here. So the little matrix that you see, that's going to tell you what chords to combine on this. So you might have, you know, the top right and then the middle one. So you'd have right here, and you actually have to combine those to be one cohesive chord progression in a song. Not only do you have that, you also have these like cool little prompts on there. Like this one, for instance, says R&B it up, write a simple melody to a chord progression, then move each chord around the diatonic third while keeping the melody the same. Can be repeated multiple times for jazziness. So you do have the actual inspiration here, and then you've got the actual challenges on the flip side that say, you know, add thirds, add sevenths, move it up, take it to a pentatonic scale, change it to a minor scale. There's all of these really, really cool combinations you can do with this one little deck alone. So for me, this is going to be a really big one because I a lot of the time get stuck writing chord progressions. Then you've got the blue deck. This blue deck is great for like moods and prompts. So for example, this one says only 3 notes, write a melody that uses 3 notes exactly. So you can literally only use 3 notes in that melody. And then if you want to take that even farther, you can write something that's pleasant and unpleasant. That gives you kind of like a mood theme. And then on the bottom, you've actually got like little client revisions, kind of client expectations that they have. And that's really, really good practice for if you're actually working with paying clients or co-writers that might have some extra input that necessarily might not vibe with your initial idea. These are really, really good tools to actually get used to doing things like that. And then the last deck, which I think is going to be really helpful for a lot of you guys, is this yellow deck. And this is the actual like lyric building, word building deck. So right here, you've got all of these words on the back. And then similar, there's a matrix on the front to the actual Melody and Harmony deck where you can kind of mix the words together if you draw 2 of these. So like if you draw this, you would have top right and top middle. So you would have to use viral with reverse. So you'd have to make a phrase out of viral and reverse. Or you can also do something where you can use the phrase right here, won't ever change. Or you've got another little thing right here, some like kind of client, kind of revision, different boundary that you have to actually keep in mind while you're doing it. So not only can you use these as little tools to kind of give you inspiration throughout the day, there are also challenges that are kind of real world practical examples of having to get out of your comfort zone and write something that might not be specifically for you. So now that we've taken a few minutes to kind of go over the deck and show you exactly what it is and what it does, let's actually hop into using it. Okay, so now we're actually in my DAW. Since we went over explaining it pretty thoroughly, I don't want to explain the deck too much. We're going to kind of be rifling through the actual exercises now. So if you need more of an explanation, go back to the beginning of the video if you may have skipped over that. We're going to be using easy keys because easy keys, it's going to show you the chords we're actually using very, very easily. So to start out, let's go ahead and find a chord progression. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 2 of these purple cards to come up with a progression, and then 1 of the purple cards for the actual matrix. So let's look at the matrix card right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. However, we're going to have to do the top right of card 1 and the top middle of card 2. So card 1 was A minor F, and this is C and G. So now we have to make a chord progression out of A minor, F, C, G. So A minor, F, C, G. So that's our chord progression right there. So we know that now we have to build a whole thing off of that. we've got our 4 chords. However, I kind of want a little bit more of a challenge, so I'm going to kind of rifle through and I'll pick one right here. So on one of the cards, it says to add sevenths as an extra challenge. So write a chord progression that features sevenths. If it sounds too jazzy, think of them as slash chords. So what I'm actually going to do is, I love using sevenths, so this is perfect for me. So I'm going to start with A minor 7th, F major 7th, C major 7th, G dominant 7th. So I like that a lot better. Now we're coming up with a chord progression. So now it's up to me. I could probably find some more exercises to do this, but I just want to come up with some kind of actual melody. Let's find a tempo. And to do that, I always just like, if I'm starting with no ideas, I'll just select a random tempo. So let's go to like 145. Let's just go ahead and start playing around. Let's do something like that for now. That'll be good to write to. I like to just write to big kind of open chords, and then we can go in and we can start playing around with melody later. So I'm going to track that real quick. We'll just jump to that. So now that that's done, we've made a chord progression out of the 2 different little, basically sub-progressions that are on the card using this little matrix, and we've used one of the actual prompts that is also on there. So let's go ahead and let's start playing around with maybe like a vocal melody and some lyrics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 3 of these. So I'm going to have 2 cards, and then I'm also just going to go ahead and use the matrix on here. So this matrix says top left and bottom left. So let's go ahead and look at what we've got. So we've got movies and sleeves. So we're going to use those 2 words, and then I'm going to go ahead and use this prompt as well, where I drive, and then let's go ahead and use this challenge as well, gibberish. So I got to write a melody by singing random words, even if they don't seem to go together. See if I can find a nice phrase using these kind of words, and then I'm going to build a whole kind of idea or song around that. So I've got movies, sleeves, where I drive, and I just have to kind of go along with that. So I am going to pull up a little lyric sheet right here as we kind of cycle through this. So let's go ahead and loop that progression and write some actual stuff. You know what, while I'm at it too, I'm realizing I also want to go ahead and I'm just going to draw this blue card to see if we have any kind of like actual vibe that we have to carry out. Like, we've got the random songs, we've got the random melodies, we've got the chord progression. Let's go ahead and find the vibe. So we've got heavy and light, contrast the music. If the music is low energy, write a high energy melody. So since this has a lot of spaces, we're going to need to write a melody with a lot more words and kind of like a faster rhythm. There's also a prompt here down at the bottom. Basically, it just says, hey, we want this track to be more danceable and more movable, which right now, I can't really do because we're just writing the song, but maybe as we kind of flesh out the song, maybe I can kind of flash forward to a produced version of it that might have something where it's still got that heavy and light contrast, where when the song is very bare like this, I have kind of a faster melody, and then maybe we can pick up the instrumentation and draw out the words a little bit longer and have something that'll make them want to move a little bit more. So for right now, I think let's just write some lyrics and some melodies based on kind of a heavy light contrast, and let's see if we can come up with anything kind of sick. Let's do it. Okay, so forgive my really probably off-pitch humming. I will go ahead and track vocals to this kind of in the middle of showing you guys what we write, and then I'll kind of put together a full version for you to listen to. But for right now, I'm just going to sing along on my lapel mic. Let's see if we can kind of put some stuff together. So we've got da 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 da. Let's see if we can do something with movies and sleeves and where I drive. Maybe we can work on kind of like a hook right here. Our life was like a movie. Our life was like a movie. Now you're crying in my shirt sleeves. Let's see. Our life is like a movie. Now you're crying in my shirt sleeves. Let's do something with shirt sleeves. Our life is like a movie. Now you're crying in my shirt sleeves. Let's change now your, plus I put the wrong your, now I'm. Let's put the right your here. So let's do Our Life Was Like a Movie, Now I'm Crying in My Shirt Sleeves. I guess people change, but you're stuck in your ways. Let's do I Thought People Change. So let's do Life is like a movie. Now I'm crying in my shirt sleeves. I thought people change, but you're stuck in your ways. I'm gonna kind of alter right here where it says where I drive on this card. So I still want to use the idea of driving, but the cool thing about these cards is like you don't have to follow them. Like this is not a game with really, really strict rules. This is just kind of a tool to use. So I've got Our Life Was Like a Movie, Now I'm Crying in My Shirt Sleeves. I thought people changed, but you're stuck in your ways. I remember all the late night drives. I remember all the late night fights. My life is like a movie. Now I'm crying in my shirt sleeves. I thought people changed, but you're stuck in your ways. I remember all the late night drives. I remember all the late night fights. Now we just need one more thing for this, and then I'm going to kind of wrap up the melody section, because then for the rest of the song I'll just kind of build. This is just really good for getting starts, and then once you have a start, I could sit here for an hour building this track out. But that's not what we're doing in this video, so I'm going to get one more kind of line that correlates with these cards, and then we'll kind of move on to building out the production based on this other kind of idea. Our life was like a movie, now I'm crying in my shirt sleeves. I thought people changed, but you're stuck in your ways. I remember all the late night drives. I remember all the late night fights. Let's still, broken words still keep me up at night. So since we want to kind of bring up something that's a little bit higher energy, let's have a chorus that will kind of trail off. So let's do My life is like a movie. Now I'm crying in my shirt sleeves. I thought people changed, but you're stuck in your ways. Stuck in your ways. I remember all the late night drives. I remember all the late night fights. Broken words still keep me up at night. I can't escape the ghost of you anymore. So let's do something right there. I'm gonna put a marker. So right now, let's go ahead and let's start focusing on this little note right here on the blue card. Hey, we want it to be a little bit more upbeat and dancey, right? This is super vibey. I'm not gonna put too much production to this right now. I might add it kind of as we go throughout the thing. But let's go ahead and let's just give ourselves a little drum. I'm gonna add just a quick little drum beat. Okay, so now I've added a little kick drum. I just got a little simple like 4 on the floor. So now what I want to do is to add a little bit more danciness. I do want to go ahead and add some kind of like bass. So I am just going to go ahead into, let's do Serum, and I'll pull up a little patch and kind of show you guys what I have in mind for the bass. So now to make it even a little bit more dancey, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go in and add some kind of little kind of like loop. That way we've got something with a little bit of movement. So we're at 145, so. Yeah, let's do something like that. Something really weird. This is from our Foley pack. All of the samples and presets we've used so far are in all of our packs. The kick was from the Dark Pop pack. The bass was from the Nashville pack. This is from the Foley pack. So now after we've processed the loop, it kind of sounds like this. I do think that we need some kind of like actual kind of long sustaining pad, so I'm going to go ahead and add something like that using Serum. So I've added this little like sidechain kind of key right here. And that's just in Serum. That's just the spaced out from the Popstar pack. So let's go ahead and layer that up with something maybe a bit more buzzy and kind of like full on. Let's do something like this. And then what we can maybe do is let's kind of bring that cutoff down a little bit. So we've got... Let's call this sidechain pad. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and add in some claps, just so we're kind of building up that danceability. So now I've added in some claps and like this little rim hit on the backbeat. So I'm gonna play that while I'm finding a little impact. So all of this has been built off of that chord progression and just the initial ideas. We do still have a vocal that we're going to be doing, but one more thing that I want to add before we add a vocal is just a little kind of synth lead, because right now the melody is just a little bit boring, just as those like sustained chords. So let's go ahead and let's try something like... Awesome. So now that we're back in, I went ahead and rehooked everything up. I just had to disconnect so I could go through the driver from the Apollo to actually track the vocals in. And I added a few more things, that way I didn't make this video an hour long. So quickly, we'll just run through the little tiny things that I added, and then kind of listen to it with vocals and just kind of recap what we've done today. So right now there's a vocal right here. You'll hear this big kind of vocal swell that we'll go over. I did just layer up Easy Keys with another instance of itself on the Interstellar mode. I did go ahead and add this kind of like cool little fast arp right here. That's just in Serum with Snap Heap on it. And then I just added some extra percussion, like we added the Trappy Loop from the Foley pack. We added some snaps and some impacts and keyboard stuff to the beginning, like right here. And then we just added a snare and an anvil hit over this. So that's basically all we've added. It's still pretty minimal. We didn't add any kind of new chord elements or lead elements or anything like that. So let's go ahead and listen to what we've got with the song based on melodies from the purple cards, lyrics from the yellow cards, and vibe from the blue cards.
Our life was like a movie. Now I'm crying in my shirt sleeves. I thought people changed, but we're stuck in our ways. Yeah. I remember all those late night drives. I remember all those late night fights. Broken words still keep me up at night, and I can't escape the ghost of you anymore.
And there you go. We have a whole song basically using A minor, F, C, G. Then we added the seventh, A minor 7, F major 7, C major 7, G dominant 7, I believe, right? Yeet. So that's what we did for that. And then for the actual words, you know, we had to use movies, we had to use sleeves, we talked about driving, and we started out with just a gibberish melody. And then we kind of contrasted. When the music is very, very minimal, the words are kind of a little bit more upbeat, and kind of that's where a lot of the rhythm lies, is within the vocal. And then once everything kind of pulls in all together, and we kind of, as that blue card talked about earlier, go for a little bit more like kind of dancey, upbeat kind of vibe, that's where we just have the vocal kind of long sustained. So as you can see, this is like a little 30-minute kind of exercise of how I've used purple, yellow, and blue all together. You can use each one individually. You can only use, the notes on the purple cards, or you can only use the client out of the yellow card, or you can only use the little kind of phrase out of a blue card. There are so many different possibilities that you can do with these. You don't have to kind of make an entire song only using these. You can use them as a tool. You can use them as a kind of a workshop kind of thing, or you can just use them as a real world practice for kind of stepping out of your comfort zone for something like a client or a co-writer or a label or a pitch meeting or something like that. So hopefully, this kind of real world practical example has kind of helped you see kind of how you can combine some chords, some lyrics, some melodies, some ideas, and then put those all together in one cohesive, quick little demo. As you can see, there are a ton of ways to use the songwriting deck. Today we did some of the more basic ones. If you want to see more examples of how to use it, Holistic Songwriting will be releasing a series over the next couple weeks of how to actually use them, different tools and techniques you can do with them, and they're going to go in a lot more depth in this one video. So definitely go check out their channel, go subscribe, go check it out on Kickstarter. In my opinion, this is one of the coolest things for songwriters and producers, just to kind of give you some inspiration, because there are tons of stuff for like creative writing, for drawing, for journaling, all kinds of cool creative hobbies like that have these kind of prompt guidelines, but I've never really seen one like this for writing or for producing. So in my opinion, this is something that the industry desperately needs. I think it would be a big help to you guys. I know that I'm going to be using these a lot. I'll probably start doing like little daily exercises of these where I just kind of push myself. So if you guys want to see me do another video with this deck and kind of make another song from scratch using that, let me know. Let us know what you think of the deck. Definitely go check it out. And in the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Keep an eye open for the Black Friday deals that we'll have coming up in the next couple weeks. And as for now, much love, make pop music. Peace out.